It's Saturday, the hair is flying free, and it's time for another vlog. Today I went to the farmer's market this morning, which was pretty great. It's a beautiful Iowan day and a perfect one for me and the rest of Des Moines to hit that farmer's market. My first time going this year, loved it. It was nice to just soak in the sun, kind of just sit there and people watch a little bit, and to enjoy some nice little treats. On the topic of treats, there was a couple of friends walking along, and I couldn't help but listening in on their conversation, and they were talking about diet tips, kind of, swapping stories about how they approach food and that kind of thing. And both of these individuals were pretty overweight, and I'm not calling them out, I'm not judging them, but it made me kind of think about the typical American diet and how we learn about nutrition through public education and other resources that are readily available to the public. And a lot of the information they were sending back and forth wasn't that motivating as far as from a nutritional standpoint. I don't see them finding a lot of success with those strategies. They were talking about sandwiches as a healthy option kind of thing, or switching from a breakfast burrito to yogurt with granola. Well, sandwiches, I mean, even if you're doing the whole grain bread, you're still getting a ton of carbs in those, and if you're treating those as a healthy alternative to white bread, I suppose you're getting more nutrients that way, so that's a plus, I suppose. But then instead of the breakfast burrito, unless the breakfast burrito has all kinds of crap in the tortilla, honestly, a yogurt with high sugar content and granola with more sugar in it, you're gonna run into more trouble, kind of thing. So where I'm going with this is just kind of reflecting on what we're taught and where we get our information on nutrition. Public education, unfortunately, is running on studies that were done back in the 80s or prior, and a lot of them were funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is a big proponent of corn and grains and supporting the American farmer kind of thing. So, the food pyramid that a lot of us grew up with had grains as the bottom portion of the pyramid, which is the exact opposite of what you want. You do not want a bulk of your diet to be made up from those grains. That's a great way to gain a lot of weight, unwanted weight. And a lot of new, the healthier plate is, again, it's a step in the right direction, but we're still running behind, because by the time good quality information gets to the government, science has moved on. We have a better understanding of weight gain, of what makes us fat, because a common misconception is, oh, low fat products, that's good for us. Well, fat doesn't make you fat. It's the carbohydrates that tend to get us into more trouble, the processed carbohydrates, the refined sugars. And when you take a low fat product, if you look at it, it's packed full of sugar and high fructose corn syrup and other things to replace that delicious, nutritious fat, and that's what ends up getting us into a lot of trouble. So while this is a lot of doom and gloom, and it's like, oh my God, well, what do I trust? What do I trust? The most basic thing, unfortunately, there's no silver bullet, here's the answer to all of your nutrition problems kind of thing. But, in addition to encouraging you to self-educate, kind of learn what you're putting in your body, that kind of thing, the basic prescription I found that avoids the most trouble is going to be the one that I got from CrossFit. It's also prescribed by the Zone Diet, in essence. Basically, meat and vegetables, eat as much as you want. Can't get into trouble there. Next step, sprinkle in some nuts and seeds. Obviously, don't eat a bag of a whole pound of almonds or macadamia nuts, but add enough to a salad or just a handful of them. Can't go wrong. A little bit of fruit. Fruit is full of micronutrients. Probably don't want to go as hard as we do with the vegetables. You want more vegetables than fruits because fruits have those sugars in them. And if you go overboard, you can kind of start to run into some trouble. But a little bit, piece or two a day, you're great. You're golden. And then we add in a little bit of starch, maybe a potato every now and then. I'm partial to yams myself, especially pre and post workout. And then we want to avoid those refined sugars that I'm talking about. So basically, the strategy is shop around the edge of the grocery store. So produce, meat, and then if you want some frozen vegetables, I mean, if you're not going to eat vegetables, then if they're not frozen and easy to cook, then go frozen or go canned. You know, it's better than not eating them, kind of thing. So try it out, see how that works for you. Go out, educate yourself, and if you have any questions at all, of course, hit me up, look at my vlog. And last but not least, make sure we're keeping a healthy relationship with food. Had a couple family members with eating disorders, and that's really painful to watch and just witness what happens with that individual. So think of nutrition as fueling your body rather than denying yourself. I eat well because I know when I do, I feel a heck of a lot better than when I don't. I feel kind of hungover if I have a crappy eating day. And sometimes, you know what? That's worth it. And so I do it. But just kind of think of it as fueling your body rather than denying yourself those junky foods. Dwell on that, think on that, and go eat something delicious and nutritious. We'll see you next time.